Hey guys, Rex here with iDrop News, and today I'm going to show you a few things that will help you take better photos with your iPhone. So let's go. There's nothing worse than taking a photo you thought was perfect only to notice later that the shot went out of focus or got blurry when you tapped your thumb on the shutter button. Even the slightest movement of your iPhone can ruin a shot, especially when you're shooting in low light. Instead, use the volume button to take your photos, or even better, if you can frame your shot with one hand, you can use the volume up or down button on your earpods that come with the iPhone to snap photos. And that way there's no chance of throwing your shot out of focus whenever you take it. Other than the actual composition of your shot, there's no two things more important to shooting photos than focus and exposure. Now, if you tap on the subject of your photo while you're in Apple's camera app, it will automatically adjust the focus and the exposure, and it usually does a pretty good job. But if you want to get a little more creative, you can manually adjust exposure by dragging up and down on the little sun on the right of the focus box. Now, if you hold down on the subject, you can lock both focus and exposure, which is helpful because then you can move the camera around a little bit and get the exact angle that you want, and the focus and the exposure will stay the same. Now, you'll still have the option to manually readjust your exposure even when it's locked. A quick tip is taking burst photos. If you hold the shutter down while taking a photo, the camera will take 10 photos per second, and you can go back and choose the ones you want to keep later. Now, this is a great way to capture photos of kids or pets that rarely ever look in the right direction. So you may have seen that HDR setting pop on and off while you're using the camera app and wonder what it's for. HDR stands for High Dynamic Range, and when taking a photo with HDR on, the iPhone camera will take multiple photos at different exposures and then combine them to deliver a single photo that shows more impressive colors and more detail in both the background and the foreground. The best time to use HDR is when your background is either much lighter or darker than the subject in the foreground. Now, HDR is usually set to auto by default, but you can switch it on or off for more creative shots whenever you want to. Now, Apple makes a pretty big deal about the iPhone 6s camera flash and how good the technology is, and it is pretty good, but my suggestion is that you avoid using the camera flash whenever you can. It usually creates a shot that's too washed out in the foreground and eliminates any kind of detail in the background. What I'd recommend is do the best you can to use natural light. Now, exposure is a big part of this, and I showed you earlier how to adjust that manually, and it's usually better than just using the built-in flash. However, the best time to use that built-in flash is whenever you're taking a photo of a person and the sun is right behind them. Another quick tip is using filters that are built in the camera app. In the bottom right corner of your iPhone camera app is a filter option that lets you add a filter to your photo before you take it. Now, there are a ton of apps that let you add filters to your photos later, like Instagram for example, but when you go ahead and add a filter while shooting, you can see what your photo will look like as you snap it, so you can make adjustments that you wouldn't be able to later. Alright guys, that's it for this one. I hope that these tips will make you a better iPhone photographer. And if there's any other photography subjects that you guys want me to do a video on, just let me know in the comments. And as always, keep it locked right here to iDrop News for more Apple tips, tricks, and rumors, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later.